It seems like there's a rash of people that's walking around. I'm gonna be reading the super chat shortly. Shout out to Qbert Rame. Also, shout out to my dog Ray Sean. Shout out to Mike, that dude over there on Cash App. Dewan Alfred. I'm definitely gonna be reading that shortly. Capturing all super chats throughout the show, and I'm gonna be reading it because I don't advocate for you guys to send them, but I appreciate it when you do, and so I absolutely positively have to acknowledge you guys. I thank you, thank you, thank you. So we know what's happening out there in California, right? Before we really get into the show, we know what's happening in California. All across California, it seems as though your legislators and the people that vote these legislators in advocate for criminal behavior. Shout out to P. Shank. I'm going to read that shortly. It seems like they advocate for criminal behavior. Why? Because they basically enabled criminals to be able to get away with some of the most egregious things. Now, I have a theory, right? And it's only a theory because I can't necessarily prove it, but I truly believe in it. And my theory is that what you see happening throughout the United States of America, the downfall, the Sodom and Gomorrah, is a manufactured downfall, and people continue to fall for it. And the reason that they fall for it is because they operate out of ignorance and they don't really know any better. I'm going to shoot y'all some bail today, right? So, for example, I think that what they do is they give you a problem that then forces them to solve for it. I think that some of the wars that we've had throughout the society, let me get on my conspiracy theory tip right now. I think that some of the wars that we've had out of society today and in yesteryear came as a result, not because it was actually a war that we need to implement, but there was a problem that we wanted to create so that we can solve for it to then extract something else on the back end and to force the people to continue to vote you in office. I'll give you an example. I remember when I was working, I think it was in like 2000, 2001, 2002. I think it was 2001. And I was working in a plant. And I was at the manufacturing facility or whatever, so on and so forth. And it was the morning time. And everybody started walking over to the break room. And I'm like, what is happening in the break room? What is happening in the break room? And so I went over there, and it was a building on fire. And apparently it was the World Trade Center buildings that was on fire because somebody had crashed a plane into them. And then I seen a second one. And the first thing that I thought to myself is, I'm about to get laid off. The second thing I thought to myself is, the president that we have in office right now is doing such a bad job, but now we're going to have to vote him back in because this is an issue that you can't leave over into an incoming president. It has to be somebody that is currently in office. Now, this is my young, ignorant self, but I believe that I was right. And I believe that those situations, along with other things, and if you look at throughout our history, these are manufactured events that happen that ultimately force us to vote a certain way because we're emotional, and we don't think logical, and we don't look at things from a business perspective. I believe that when you think about the oil that's extracted, when you think about us going over and saving different people, when you think about us implementing ourselves and participating in certain wars and the different people that's pulling the puppet strings throughout history, I don't believe that most of this stuff comes as a result of human behavior. I think that most of it comes as a result of manufactured behavior from those that are at the top that control your emotions and then force you to vote a certain type of way because we don't really understand what it is that we doing to ourselves. When you think about what happened during the pandemic and all of the distractions that happened when it came to Black Lives Matters, we knew if you go over to their website that it was a Marxist organization. We knew who was running that organization, but we still voted for it. We bought their shirts. We donated to their causes. We see things happening throughout society, but our better judgment and our better common sense never kicks in to where we can prevent ourselves from doing the things that's the worst for us. And so as a result, this is what you get. And I think that this is similar to what's happening over in California. Let me cook. This is the realest talk that you're going to get. This is the best morning show ever. If you have not shared this with your family and friends and hit a like for the YouTube algorithm or the Facebook algorithm, then you are really missing out. We know in hindsight, if we look at all of the things that's happened throughout our society, if we looking at the bomb in Hiroshima, if we look at Nagasaki, if we look at the Kuwait, over in Kuwait, operating Saudi Arabia, right? Saddam Hussein. When we think about some of the most egregious people throughout history, do you know that there's dictators that never has been addressed, never has been written about, that has done more atrocious things than some of the people that we highlight as the worst of society? Why? Because we don't necessarily get any benefit as a result of it. History is written by the winners. And so when we see what's happening today, and I'm going to bring it back for you guys, when you see what's happening today and you see what's happening over in California and DC and Chicago, and they can't seem to get these cities together, and we allow for ourselves to continue to vote in people based off of our emotions, what do you think is going to happen? They're manufacturing something that then forces you to vote a certain type of way. When you think about what happened during the pandemic, right? And you think about how states were split across party lines in order to align with who it is that they wanted to be in office. Some states shut down, some states didn't. Some states said that it was the president's fault, some states didn't. When you think about what's happening with Trump, in every single state, he's turning himself into Georgia allegedly right now. Right now. My biggest gripe with Trump is that he never should have ran for public office in the first place, because everybody loved him and all of the rappers was taking pictures with him and y'all was referencing him in y'all songs until he became president of the United States of America. Then he became Orange Man bad. And if you can't see that this thing is a manufactured problem, because if you don't vote for Biden and you're not black, then you're living under a rock. Now, I'm not telling you why you should vote or who you should vote for. I'm talking to you about being informed about what's happening throughout our society, and everything that you see is being manufactured in order to get you to vote a certain type of way, or to operate a certain type of way, or to purchase a certain type of way, or to prop up a specific type of industry. If you don't understand that certain things is then happening, that then dictates how it is that they extract the most money from you because you're emotional, then you really operate naive. You're not really paying attention. And so when we see all of this stuff happening and these laws being implemented, especially in California, where they're allowing basically criminal activity and there's a no bail system and they letting people rob people, there's a movement in which Asians over in California, especially in Oak Hills, are being targeted on a regular basis and nobody is doing anything about it. But there are certain places that's saying, nah, we not going, fam. We not going, fam. But that's not the issue. That's not the issue. You know what the real issue is? The real issue that we're seeing happening right now is the fact that a lot of people have bought so much into the juice that they're then enabling the bad behavior. And they're having conversations about how the police officers are wrong that then do their job to protect us as citizens, instead of holding the people that's doing the egregious behavior accountable. Case in point.
What just happened? Someone just got absolutely died. Where's she at? Up there, Jason.
No, go up there. No.
It's human nature, right?
That's crazy.
Thank you for the super chats. I'm going to be reading those shortly. I appreciate you guys.
That's the same cop that.
What you see right here, ladies and gentlemen, is 12 Oaks Mall in Novi, Michigan. Novi, Michigan is a suburb basically on the outskirts of Detroit. And it's a pretty prestigious place, right? The average home price in Novi, Michigan, let me pull it up for you. The average home price in Novi, Michigan is trending towards $500,000, right? Somewhere between $434,000 and $500,000 on a regular basis, right? So that's the average purchase price for a home in Novi, Michigan. So what I'm seeing at this mall in Novi, Michigan is a woman that is on the ground and she's being addressed by the police because she tried to pull some of the same stuff that they trying to pull over in California. They think that they just going to walk in, steal, be able to get away, do what they want to do, and then they're going to blame the police for it, and then people are going to come to their aid and then say, hey, why are you body slamming her? Why are you dealing with her a certain type of way? But let's continue.
They yelled at us. That's the same cop that yelled at us.
Sit down.
Ooh.
Sit down. Hey, y'all, look at these so aggressive with her. She is perfect. Sit down. Get your bitch ass the fuck out.
Damn.
So now you see a combative woman. I'm not going to address her race. You can see it for yourself. Your eyes work. You have a combative woman that literally was stealing, getting caught. The police ain't messing around out here. Come out here and do that junk if you want to. This ain't California. The police is not messing around out here, and they addressing it accordingly. They addressing it with aggression. They're addressing it very fervently. And you have a woman, instead of her cooperating on what she was doing the wrong thing in the first place, she's deciding to get combative with the police.
Go around, come here. Oh my God. Yo.
You have no idea. Go. It has nothing to do with you. Don't go with that thing. Go. She's still a lady at the end of the day. Y'all grown men.
She's still a lady at the end of the day, y'all grown men. You have people, the general public, who's been programmed to look at the police as the enemy and not the people that's actually running their businesses out of order, out of business, out of pocket, continuing to destroy the fabric of America and society and run your taxes up and all of that other type of stuff. And so instead of them holding her accountable, they're trying to hold the police accountable that then is called in order to protect us and do the thing that's in our own best interest. Let's continue.
Oh, that's crazy, dude. What'd she even do?
Wait, I want to get
What'd she do?
Come here, come here.
Stay right here.
Two of y'all need to hold her. Two of y'all need to, only one of y'all. She's a woman. Two of y'all don't need to hold her.
I can tell that she's got bruises on her and she's already. I know. That shit weak as hell. That's bullshit, how they're treating her. She might have been stealing or whatever, but you don't need to treat her like that. She's still fucking
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know what the issue was. It don't matter. They didn't need to be treating her like that. That's some bullshit. I'm the only one person that stands up for the way she's being treated. That's bullshit. Fuck. So tired of that.
What's up, gang? What's up, gang? Dude, let's follow. I want to watch. Come here.
Somebody said, are they defending theft? They absolutely are. They absolutely are. They are defending theft. They are defending theft. Let's continue. I'm going to play it through.
Press. Yeah. Dude, I thought we were chasing him. She ran. Oh.
You don't need to get involved.
What is she saying? She said, you don't have to get involved. Like, we're allowed to record if we want.
That's so embarrassing.
That's crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. Why'd she try to run again? Was she trying to steal?
Let me get.
Whose shoe is that?
That's her shoe.
So now we've devolved to the point to where we're now on the side of the criminals instead of being on the side of righteousness. You don't even have to look at it from a righteousness perspective. You can just look at it from the perspective of what's in your own best interest. Is it in your best interest? If you're not a criminal, you have nothing to worry about. That always reminds me of the conversation that people have with me and when they say, well, Anton, what's going to happen when you get pulled over? I have my hands on the steering wheel. I roll my windows down. I turn my dome lights on. If it's the nighttime, I then address the officer accordingly, and I say, "Hey, how you doing, man? What's going on?" I comply, especially knowing that I'm the person that was speeding down the street and I didn't get pulled over for no reason. 99% of the time, when you get pulled over in a car, you know what you was doing. It's not their fault that they pulled you over. It's your fault for breaking the law. But I have my license, my registration. I know what the law is. I'm going to comply. I'm going to be cool. And you know what happens? Overwhelmingly, 99% of the time, I don't even get a ticket. They let me go. They say, "Oh, man, just be careful, so on and so forth. Don't be out here doing this. Hey, where you live at? Oh, okay, cool." I have no problems whatsoever. You know why? Because I'm not a criminal. And so criminals then want bad behavior rooted out of their neighborhoods, their streets. We don't want businesses to close. We like it when we have the ability to be able to go out and shop and have safety. We like the fact that we don't have to hear sirens throughout the night. We like the fact that our children can go outside and play without having to worry about catching a stray bullet. We like the fact that we don't have to worry about stealing, or when stealing happens, that it's addressed accordingly, because we don't want to have to raise up the prices in order to account for the theft and the pillage that goes out. And most of the people that enable this behavior, they've never had a business. They've never ran something where they had somebody stealing from them. You wouldn't believe the amount of theft that happened at the restaurant. Literally, people was walking product out the door as the people was delivering it. You wouldn't believe the criminal behavior and the nature that happens when people are enabled with this bad behavior. And then you know what they're going to do? You know what they're going to do? They're going to complain that it's a food desert. They're going to complain that they don't have no options. They're going to complain that their property values is down. They're going to complain that their schools is lackluster, because the property values is the large determination of how much taxes is going to, and how much effort and how much money is going to be placed into your school system. Oh, they don't invest in our school system. Oh, you don't invest in your own town by then addressing the criminal nature and the criminal behavior that happens in our society. But I'm very, very thankful. I'm one of the few people that actually love our police officers and appreciate them for doing the jobs that we ourselves wouldn't do. I appreciate the people that clean up our streets. I appreciate the people that come and pick up our trash. I show love to our postal workers. I love it when we operate within a society in which our culture does not enable bad or criminal behavior. But this is the way in which we're going. This is the spaces that we live in. This is the mindset and the behavior that we're empowering. This is the stuff that we champion. This is the reason why we wear the Free Ray shirt on, because we don't know what's best for ourselves, and we don't even understand that we're doing the things that's not in the best interest of our children. If you can't even do it for yourself, do it for your kids. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for your kids. I'm never going to support, back, or enable bad behavior, because I do not believe in it. I do not love it. I do not champion it. I do not have any kind of love for people that do the wrong thing. And the minute that you don't hold them accountable, they continue to perpetuate bad behavior, and it becomes like a virus. It spreads. It's like bacteria. It takes over everything. And then it absolutely destroys everything that you have, including your own neighborhood. Man, I don't want nothing happening in my spaces or my neighborhood that would put my daughter at a disadvantage, or would prevent her from being able to live her best life. I don't understand it. I don't understand how y'all continue to think that this is a good thing for y'all to continue to support criminal behavior. I believe in the walk of shame. Yo, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I said, "Yo, don't you realize that the way in which they dealt with and prevented anybody from doing things that's bad for them is they used to cut off the fingers or cut off the hands of a thief?" A thief was one of the worst things that you can be. Taking something that's not yours, coveting something that's not yours, being jealous of somebody for something that they had. Being a thief was worthy of almost death. Being a thief was worthy of getting your hand cut off. Why don't we shame criminals? Why do we continue to make things bad in our own neighborhoods? Why do we not understand that this is not going to work out in our benefit if we're not taking care of business? I don't get it. Why do we think that this is cool? When did it become cool to be a thief? When did it become cool to ruin your own neighborhoods? and take from your own stores. And the businesses, don't y'all realize that a lot of these businesses are people? Most businesses are small business. When you go into a restaurant and you finesse somebody, right? And you go in and you know you didn't want to pay the bill. And so you go in and you can complain. I can't stand going to the restaurant with people that complain on purpose so that they can get their food for free. Don't you know that's somebody else's business that they invested in? I can't stand people that's trying to get stuff for free. I can't stand finessers. I can't stand it. It bothers me to my core. And at some point, we're going to have to evolve to where we see right is right and wrong is wrong. Or maybe we just continue to devolve so much to where it really is Sodom and Gomorrah.